The first thing I heard was my own laugh. Sharp.
Loud.
Wrong for the moment. They stood on my porch like ghosts I had buried years ago. My brother.
His wife.
2 suitcases between them. I gripped the door frame to steady myself, because this didn't feel real. Not after everything. I know how this looks, my brother said, voice careful, almost rehearsed. I didn't answer. I couldn't, because the last time I saw them, I was the one standing outside, with nowhere to go. My name is Natalie Cross. I remember the smell of that night like it never left me.
Rain.
Wet pavement. The quiet sound of a door locking behind me. His wife didn't even look at me when she told him I had to leave. She said I was a problem, that I made things unsafe. And he believed her. Now they were here, on my porch, looking smaller than I remembered. I wouldn't ask if we had another option, he added. That's when something inside me broke loose. Not anger.
Not pain.
Something colder. I stepped back slowly, still smiling, still laughing under my breath, because for the first time in years, I had the door. I didn't invite them in. I just stood there, leaning against the door like it was the only thing holding the moment together. You can't be serious, I said, my voice calmer than I felt. My brother shifted his weight. He looked tired, older. Not the version of him I remembered, choosing her over me, without hesitation. It's temporary, he said. Just until we figure things out. Temporary. That word hit harder than it should have. Because the last time I heard it, I was the one asking for just a few days. Just time to get back on my feet. Back then, I had nothing. No savings. No backup. No place to go except his couch. And for a while, he let me stay. But his wife never did. She watched everything.
Me eating. Me sleeping.
Me existing. Like I was something that didn't belong in her house. I pushed the memory down and looked at them again. So, what happened? I asked. They exchanged a quick glance.
Too quick.
Things fell apart, she said.
Vague. Clean.
Safe. I nodded slowly, but something in my chest tightened. Because people who tell the truth don't hide inside small words like that. And I suddenly knew they weren't telling me everything. I let the silence stretch just long enough to make them uncomfortable. My brother rubbed the back of his neck, a habit he only had when he was hiding something. His wife kept her arms folded, chin lifted, like she was still in control of how this would go. We lost the house, he said finally.
Lost.
Another careful word.
How?
I asked. He hesitated. She didn't. Bad decisions. She cut in quickly. It happens. I studied her face. Same tone. Same calm confidence she used years ago when she told him I couldn't stay. Like if she said something firmly enough, it became the truth. What kind of decisions? I pressed. My brother opened his mouth, but she answered again. Investments that didn't work out, she said. Investments. I nodded slowly, like I accepted it. Like I wasn't paying attention to how she kept stepping in before he could speak. That was new. Before, he spoke for both of them. Now, she was controlling the entire conversation. And he was letting her.
Something shifted in my chest.
Not sympathy. Not yet. Recognition. I leaned against the doorframe, crossing my arms. Funny, I said quietly. Last time someone got kicked out, you had a very different explanation. Her eyes snapped to mine. And for a second, I saw it again. That same old calculation. She recovered fast. She always did. A small smile. Controlled. Measured. That was different, she said. I tilted my head. Was it? My brother looked between us, tension pulling at his face. He knew where this was going. He just didn't know how to stop it. You said I was unstable. I continued, voice steady. That I made the house unsafe. Her smile didn't move, but her eyes tightened. I said you were going through something, she corrected. We were trying to help. Help. I let that word sit in the space between us like something rotten. You told him I stole from you, I said. My brother flinched. That one landed. She glanced at him quickly, like she hadn't expected me to bring it up so directly. You did take things, she said, quieter now. No, I replied. You moved them, then blamed me. The silence cracked wide open. My brother stepped back, confusion finally breaking through whatever story he'd been holding onto all these years. "What is she talking about?" he asked her. She didn't answer right away. Because this time, she couldn't control the version of events anymore. And I wasn't the same person she pushed out that night. I stepped fully outside, closing the door behind me. Not to shut them out, just to make sure this stayed exactly where it belonged. On the porch. In the open. "You told him I took your jewelry," I said, holding her gaze. "Your watch. Cash from the drawer." My brother's face tightened. "You said you saw her." "I saw things missing," she cut in quickly. "And she was the only one."
"Stop," he said.
It wasn't loud, but it landed. She went still. That was new. He looked at me now, really looked like he was trying to match who I was with the version he'd been told to believe. "You swore," he said quietly. "You said you had proof." "I did," she replied, but her voice wasn't as certain anymore.
"Show it," I said.
Simple.
Clean.
Final. Her hand moved toward her bag, then paused halfway. Because there was nothing to show. There never was. The truth settled in slowly on his face, like something he didn't want but couldn't ignore anymore. He took a step back from her. Just one. But it changed everything. I crossed my arms, watching her carefully, because for the first time since she showed up, she didn't have control anymore. The porch felt smaller now. Not because of space, but because the truth had nowhere left to hide. My brother ran a hand through his hair, breathing uneven, like something inside him was finally catching up. "You told me she admitted it," he said, voice low. She didn't answer right away. Her eyes flicked toward me, then back to him, searching for a way out that wasn't there. "I said she didn't deny it," she replied carefully. I almost smiled. "That's not the same thing," he said.
No.
It wasn't, but it had been enough. Enough to make him choose. Enough to push me out into the rain with nothing but a bag and a story that wasn't mine. "I asked you that night," I said, my voice quieter now. "I begged you to look at me and tell me you believed I'd do something like that." He closed his eyes, just for a second, because he remembered.
And he knew what he said.
"I didn't think you'd lie to me," he whispered to her, not me. That was the moment everything shifted. Not loud, not dramatic, just a quiet break in something that used to feel unshakable. And for the first time, she looked uncertain. Her shoulders stiffened, like she was bracing for impact that hadn't landed yet. "You're really doing this now?" she said, voice sharper. "After everything we've been through?" Like I had been part of it. My brother shook his head slowly. "No," he said. "You did this. Not we." That word broke something open. She laughed under her breath, but it wasn't confident anymore. It sounded thin, forced. "So, what? You're just going to take her side now?" she asked. "I'm not taking sides," he replied. "I'm asking for the truth." Silence. She looked at him. Really looked this time, like she was realizing the ground had shifted beneath her feet. "There's nothing to explain," she said finally. That was her mistake. Because people with the truth don't run out of explanations. I pushed off the railing and walked past them, down the steps, just enough to turn back and face them from a distance. "You don't get to rewrite what you did," I said. My brother's eyes followed me, something heavy settling into place. Regret. Real, undeniable regret. He looked back at her and didn't defend her. Not this time. And that's when she understood it too. She wasn't the one deciding what happened next anymore. No one spoke for a long moment. Not because there was nothing to say, because everything had finally been said. My brother looked at me like he was seeing the past in full for the first time. Not the version he was told. The real one. "I should have listened to you," he said. "It wasn't loud. It wasn't enough to fix anything. But it was honest." I nodded once. That was all I gave him. His wife didn't look at either of us anymore. Her focus dropped to the ground, like if she stayed still enough, this moment might pass without consequence. It didn't. "We don't have anywhere else," my brother added, quieter now. There it was. The truth they avoided since they arrived. I let the silence sit, then stepped closer to the door again. "My door." "I believe you," I said, Hope flickered in his eyes. Then I opened it halfway and shook my head. But I remember too. The hope disappeared.
I didn't slam the door this time.
I closed it slowly, deliberately. On the other side, their voices didn't rise. They didn't argue. They just stood there, exactly where they left me once. And I finally walked away from it,